Right now you can have an FM translator on an AM station, but you have to maintain the AM in order to have the translator. You can't just turn the AM off and keep the FM because it's convenient and because no one listens to AM anymore. But right now the new FCC is seeking deregulation of everything they possibly can. So how's that going to look in the future? I have a feeling they're going to deregulate that, and that's going to start the downfall of AM. And while us hobbyists love it, factually, I don't know if it's really viable anymore with the price of the land, the towers and transmitters take up and all that other stuff. So how much longer is AM even going to be around? Is it even worth fixing this 1979 Ford car radio? Worked on this one before several years ago. The capacitors in the IF transformers are starting to fail. Yes, solid state equipment is starting to have that problem. It's not necessarily silver mica disease. They're those little ceramic tubular capacitors, and they're just failing. So anyway, this thing is stone dead again. Nothing. So let's get it out and at least diagnose it. I remember that the board where the IF transformers are located is extremely hard to get out because it's got a whole bunch of these really fine hair wires from the permeability tuning mechanism. This is the old push button style radio. Ford Aerospace and Communications Corporation. And I actually left the schematics in it from the last time I worked on it. And that's what I ended up doing because the capacitor in that can was open. And the reason why I didn't do it right, meaning scrape the capacitor, remove the thing and take the capacitor out, was because of this, the way this is built. And I guess those coils probably, there's slugs that move in and out of these coils. That's how this works. See, those are the slugs right there. And they're not working? Oh, there they go. So that's how this tunes. Those slugs move in and out of these coils. And what I might be able to do is there might be room to put some surface mount capacitors on the bottom of the board. But you can see how little clearance there is there. Wow, here are my notes from before. 523.14. And that one was open. Now I bet you that other one is open. Wow, how would you ever service that other one if it doesn't poke to the outside? And then we got two capacitors in there. So what is the IF frequency of this thing? Like 262 or what? Oh, there it is. 262.5. Yeah, and there's where I put the other capacitor. I put it in the wrong place because I couldn't access the capacitors inside. This is a tough one right here. This is one that does not want to cooperate. I'm going to make sure the converter is running, which there it is. I'm tuning the radio. So the converter is running and the audio section is running. That pretty much confirms that it's in the IF. So is this made in Brazil? Really? $79.18. Made in Brazil. I don't think I've ever worked on anything made in Brazil. Is that why it's red? Is that why the capacitors are all red? So these are the two IF cans that I'm suspecting. This one, there's two capacitors in there, two capacitors in there. These are not common in your average transistor radio. Driving 262.5 directly into the base here of the IF transistor, I'm getting nothing. So that means that this can is, well, either the transistor or this can is gone. Well, if I feed in right here to the detector after the transformer, I'm getting sound. And I checked the voltages on this transistor and they're right. So it's got to be in this can right here. And now I can go ahead and get that can off of there. So here it is. And there are the two capacitors, and I can't believe those are bad. Usually they look corroded at the ends when they go bad. So I'm going to check the coils. Well, some bad news here. It's not the capacitor, the coil is open. I have no continuity in this coil right here. The other two coils check out just fine, but that one is completely open. This one is open. And it's open from here to everywhere and from here to everywhere. I guess maybe it's just the thermal cycles in the car from hot to cold. It just went open. And I don't know what I'm going to do to replace that because that's not a common part that I have. A 262.5 IF transformer. I almost need a donor radio. Let's try an experiment on this car radio before I give up on it. Yesterday I was digging around and I came across this box of IF transformers. Now these are for tube sets. These are not for solid state, but these are all 262.5. And they're labeled as input and output. So I imagine tube IF transformers are a much higher impedance. I don't know about the output one because it's feeding a diode just like, but I would think the plate versus the collector side would be a much higher impedance. Also, these are double tuned, meaning they have two cores, where the solid state ones are single tuned, they have one core. So let's try, let's play, see what happens. Can't really hurt anything, right? It'll be a learning experience. How will it perform? Will it perform at all? Maybe if it just gets K and X, that's all I really need. $2.85. No wonder why no one did silver mica disease surgery back in the day. And that is a possibility that all of these are suffering from silver migration, silver mica disease. These things just all are now. In fact, this one here has a silver bottom, and it doesn't look too bad, but it looks like it's trying to start. Yeah, let's try a 2521 because I got the paperwork for it. exact replacement for Bendix auto radios. And I think this thing I can make this fit in here. There's the 6521 layout. How do we know what the pin numbers are? Well, to start with, this is for the 6521, the base layout, and this doesn't even match that. This matches that. So I don't know, no ring around lug and color dot. All those have equal rings around them or no rings at all. It's like this one here. So I just went around with an ohm meter and figured it out. I was outside digging around for a core for this one because someone stole the core out of this one, and I came across a whole bunch more of them. Now, I don't know if these ones here are also 262 or what frequency these are. I guess maybe I could test these with a signal generator and a scope. I don't know, but here's more of them. We're going to find something that works here. I took one of these apart. These all say IF2 on them. And look at this thing. This thing's pure quality. Look at this. It's got silver mica capacitors in it. No silver mica disease for this one, but I don't think this is an output. I should scrape that back and see what the value is on one of those. Looks like it is 162 picofarads at 5%. This is pure quality. You know, if they wanted something to last, this is what they would use. If they were using these, we wouldn't have such a thing as silver mica disease. I mean, look at this. There are multiple strands in each winding. This thing is pure quality, but I don't think this will work for an output, because an output, usually the impedance on the diode side, the detector side impedance is lower than the plate or collector side. And even check this out. It's got a metal shield on the inside of the can. Man, this is real quality here, and I don't even know who makes this. Okay, here's the inside of one of these stubby ones. And I don't even think this is an IF transformer. There's no capacitors in it. Maybe it's stereo. Stereo 38 kilohertz, 19 kilohertz coil. Sort of just playing around here. I got the little signal generator and the little scope, and I'm just sort of going up and down in frequency. So if you look at right here, that's the frequency I'm at. So I'm going to go up in 10 kilohertz steps. So it seems to peak at 232. It definitely falls off by 262. So maybe that's because I don't have the shield on the outside. Putting the shield on the outside definitely affected it. So now it's peaking up around, and I can still adjust it. Now it seems to be peaking around 232. Wonder if I can adjust it with the cores. So the same thing on this one, it seems to be peaking around 222. So that must just be because it's not in the circuit, and it relies on the capacitance and stuff in the circuit. So this is, I'm sure there's the right way to do this, and there's academic people who watch this that understand it much better than I do. I'm just a diagnostic guy that, is playing around and experimenting. So I'm going to try both of these. Now, I don't know. I got to figure out how I'm going to set it up. I think I'm just going to pull 4 wires out of here because there's only 4 connections. There's power collector to the IF transformer, and then ground and detector diode. So it's not complicated. And then I'm just going to have to feed 262 into the front end of this thing, and then just experiment with output voltage, and try and get the best configuration, see what we can come up with, just like the loudest tone. Here's my idea for testing. I know it's not ideal because you don't want lead length and big clip leads in RF, but we're going to just try it out. So I made some clip leads here, and so basically green is ground, yellow is detector, red is 12 volts, and white is IF transistor collector. So again, I know it's not ideal because you got all this lead length here and stray capacitance and all of that. I'm feeding the signal generator into the base of the converter through a capacitor. I got a 13 volt battery here. Let's see if it works. And you might think, well, if it does work, why is the radio not playing right now? Well, I don't have the slugs in the tuning things here. So let's see, 262.5. Ooh, that's promising. I just started with the new IF can that was really well built with the mica capacitors in it. Modulation AM. Wow. That's loud. That sounds very awake. Need 2 hands here. Interesting looking sine wave. Looks a bit distorted, doesn't it? So I'm measuring across the speaker with this, and I'm just going to kind of compare these transformers in connection configurations for the loudest, I guess, least distorted output. So I'm at negative 37 here. I'm not going to move that. I'm just going to switch the IF transformers around. I switched to the Miller, and it's much less sensitive. So I'm going to try different configurations on this. Well, I'm changing the configuration around, and I've got the core out of this one, and I'm just about, I think I'm a little bit better than the other IF transformer. Okay, I flipped this over, and I think I found a real happy spot here. Check this out. Wow. Wow, I think I found a real happy spot here. Major happy spot. Oh, and look at, it's not all distorted. Wow. Let me put the other core in. Wow. Damn, that is narrow. That might be too narrow. Why is it hard cut off like that? That sounds really, really narrow. That looks really nice, though. I think I'm going to have to go this route. I'm going to have to go with the Miller. That configuration seems really good. I think I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to just try one of these. I would have loved to have used a good IF transformer with the good capacitors in it. But the Miller just kicks ass. Pretty much nothing through that. I had to go up about 50 dB here to get any sound. So we'll go with the Miller, and I'm going to put it on the back side of the board. I think it'll fit in the radio, or I mean the front side of the board, whatever. Got the board reattached. I think I might just put the transformer right here and put a little silicone there to hold it down. I should run a ground wire to the outside can, but got it powered up. We got static. Do some tuning here and see if there's any action. I know it's not ideal to have long wires like this, but this is 262. It's a pretty low frequency. Ooh.
I want you to keep or pocket the money that you would normally spend towards room and board, tuition.
Well, of course. Well, this is promising.
Before this in days. And so going from one factory, what you can see here, to 10 factories,
It's getting stations without even an antenna. Put an antenna on it. I clipped a wire on there. Yeah, let me run a ground wire to the can. Yeah, I got a ground wire connected to the IF can. That'll get rid of that weirdness. I got 2 clip leads for an antenna. Audio amp chip is not on a heat sink. That's not a good thing to do.
It's because it's called math and science.
To enable us to connect with people.
Really narrow. It's working. Let me try and align the IF. Okay, make sure we're on 262.5. Right now I'm just feeding the RF from this into the antenna port. That one seemed pretty close. That one was a little bit off. Sure is noisy. Play with this. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it, considering we're using a vacuum tube IF transformer and a solid state car radio.
Callers, then you get the free B12 energy melts. You know, we need to talk.
Oh yes, the free B12 energy melts.
Because this is Omega 50 plus. Hey,
Oh, it is.
Run down. It's great for you too, but 50, 60, 70s. Female standing 4 feet tall, weighing 6. Hair and brown eyes. Nation is a 6-year-old black male standing 4 feet tall, weighing 40 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Alone in Monty is a 4-year-old black female standing 3 feet tall with brown hair and brown eyes. The suspect, Constance Franks, is a 55-year-old black female, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing 170 pounds with black and red hair and brown eyes. Constance Franks was last seen wearing a white tank top, a tan dress, and brown boots. The suspect and children are believed to be on foot or using public transportation. If seen, call 911.
Oh.
Murray Carpenter puts that one away.
Oh, nice. So we have like automated Amber Alerts now that just take over the radio stations. That was great.
July, 1-3 with a 19.64 ERA in 11 games.
To begin to build your own personal financial freedom. So let me go through the process.
Well, let me say this. It sounds good. The bandwidth sounds great. The sensitivity seems lackluster, but I need to get it together and get it in the car with the ground plane and the antenna it was designed for. Because with this, the whole entire body of the car is a ground plane. So let me put it back together. I also don't want to burn up that audio output chip there. And I'll put a little silicone on this to hold this in place. But yeah, sometimes you have to make do with what you got. As this stuff ages, you know, these parts are just not off the shelf anymore. So I just got some silicone holding this thing in here because there's a moving part right there. So there it is. It's put back together. Let's pop the top on it. I'm going to let it dry for a while. Then we'll see how it works in the car. Boy, that stupid emergency alert thing is just going nuts. Yeah, here it is again. I wonder how many people know what 1730 hours is. Come on, people, dumb it down so the GP gets it. Just so it's clear what I was doing, this transformer that I ended up using has 3 taps on each coil. And I just kept going around testing different combinations of the taps on both sides until I got peak performance. And then I aligned the cores from there. So that's how I did it. The other one I was using did not have multiple taps. Okay, I got it in the car. It sounds like the speaker went bad in the dash, unfortunately, but I brought out the little test speaker. And believe it or not, this thing is getting the old school station out of Santa Barbara. That's incredible. So I can pretty much stop right there and say this radio is probably performing almost as good as it did brand new. Because this station is DX. I mean, this is a really low signal.
No le salió absolutamente nada.
And we want to be careful here because
I wonder if it'll get the country station at the bottom of the dial out of Bakersfield.
This means the starting routine.
Wow, there it is. So that tells you I got this thing right. I mean, it is right. For it to get the two DX stations during the day out of Santa Barbara and Bakersfield, this is like reserved for the best of the best.
Well, Heineman then angrily throws the bat, throws the
a time, 24 hours. That looks like Taylor Heineke going to get another series in the two drives.
Sounds good.
Lead for good in the ball game in the bottom of the first, and
but they've done studies on younger people too. They actually have 2 studies on
a run. Right, it's
issues that people unnecessarily face.
if you do. It's got to be a week. Did you go the whole month?
Yeah.
Arrested and taken to the Capitol. The recently passed congressional budget bill giving an extra $45 billion to ICE and other immigration.
Mine in secret places he designed.
You get through. Yeah, it's
이제 상대가 잘난 척하고 우쭐해 보여.
금보다도 귀.
Para los Astros es una victoria vital a causa de su desobediencia.
Wonder what that dead carrier is right there. Yeah, for it to get this is very impressive. Very impressive. I'm very happy with the way this came out for what I'm using a vacuum tube radio transformer in solid state. I'm going to have to get a new speaker. I'll reinstall the radio in the car once that silicone dries. Yeah, impressive.
Santa Maria and 94.1 Santa Barbara. You can stream us now worldwide at oldschoolcentralcoast.com. I thought I'd